So I was at the range today shooting my Glock 34, and I noticed how it's a 9mm, in case you don't know that. And I noticed how flat it was shooting, meaning it wasn't really flipping up at all as I fired. And I was actually really impressed with that for myself, because that is not something that I tended to do with a Glock. There's always a bit of muzzle flip going on with a Glock for me. But today, it was shooting very flat. And obviously I attribute that to just general strength, my grip, all that kind of stuff, the way, my arms are and all that kind of shit. But what I also attribute that to is the HK P30L that I have, which is chambered in .40 Smith & Wesson. It's a heavier caliber, has a little bit more kick, and I predominantly have been shooting that, or yeah, I guess that's the word for it. And I've been, predominantly shooting that every time I go out to the range. So, they say to work on trigger pull and everything, and sight picture and trigger pull, a good thing to use, or a good gun to use, is a .22. So a smaller caliber, so you don't have as much muzzle flip, recoil that you're managing. Well, I would say that in contrast to that, going higher up in a caliber and getting used to shooting a heavier caliber definitely makes a smaller caliber way easier to shoot. So if you're having problems with a 9mm, for example, so if you have the opportunity to shoot a larger caliber, like a 10mm or a 40, you should do it. You might be surprised after lots of practice with a higher caliber how well and how much easier a 9mm is to shoot, for example. Never know.